Hi everyone, welcome to TFT Tarot for today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee, and this is the outlook on the emotional exchanges. So it's my weekly program on Fridays, and it's about what happens in the emotional aspects or vectors or areas of our life. So I do this reading for all the signs of the Zodiac, from Aries all the way to Pisces. Just 3 simple cards. What's the vibe for the week? What is the emotional challenge for the week? And who or what is coming your way? Maybe why? So here we go, starting with Aries. And these are good for sun, moon, or rising. So, the vibe for the week, it's the 5 of Wands reverse. Why can't we all just get along? There's a lot of questions right now about back and forthness in a relationship or with a series of relationships. I don't think this is about a love relationship so much as about things that maybe are more team or group oriented, and maybe not everybody gets along. Maybe some people use the social activity to play games of some sort or one-upmanship or things like that. So there's a little tension there, in my opinion. Or there is also the movement towards trying, to resolve some of these issues. I kind of wobble with the 5 of Wands in a different way, because I guess it's the difference between me and Banshee. Like, I sort of feel like the way I look at it is nearly the opposite of her. I don't know if that's true, but it seems that way sometimes. Anyways, card 2, the emotional challenge for the week. It's the Knight of Pentacles. And maybe this is saying, if this is about that situation, this is about saying, take it a little slow, take it a little easy. Don't rush to judgment or anything necessarily. Maybe this just needs to play out on its own terms. So, next card. Who, what, why, what? Coming your way. So, 10 of Cups. So, something that brings a lot of happiness is coming your way. This could just be your overall relationship with your tribe or your family, or your besties, however they come to you. It could be like, maybe for some people, their co-workers are the most important people in their lives. Hey, I have felt that sometimes with certain co-workers over the many years. So that's Aries. And we will now move on to Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. Detroit area is still quite frigid. I'm recording this several days earlier, but I think we're expected to stay in the cold and overly snowy zone for a while. So I'm very sorry about that for us up here in similar states. Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, what is the emotional vibe for the week? It's the Emperor. So it's about really asserting your control or dominion. This almost looks like, from an emotional point of view, you really do need or want to lay down the structure of things, that there may be an actual hierarchy of emotional needs in relationships, and you kind of want to go with that. And this could be saying too that, you feel really accomplished in the goals you're looking forward to doing, and it's just sort of cementing, your sense of dominion over parts of your emotional life, like getting it under control. So your emotional challenge for the week is the reverse Queen of Pentacles. And this may be saying that if we're trying too hard to control everything, maybe we just need to give ourselves some extra self-care and loosen up that idea that we have to have dominion, maybe. Who, what, or why coming your way? And it's... Oh, I know I've been through this before, but I think it's justice. You know, sometimes the 8 and the 11 are transposed. I think this one, well, maybe it's strength. I'm going to say it's strength. I'm so sorry, folks, that I don't know this card. Some cards are like that. Okay, show the ashamed face. Here it is. So as strength, what's coming towards you maybe is a lesson of sorts of realizing that in this matter here, you can get more of your way by not necessarily trying to have dominion. Maybe this time for self-care is going to teach you that not only do you need to care for yourself, but you need to truly care for those around you, Taurus. Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The emotional vibe for the week for Gemini. It's the upright 9 of Swords. Wow, Gemini, you got a bit of stuff going on that is maybe makes you anxious and makes you feel like you can't get your rest. You're very stressed out. It must be about something emotional. I get the feeling like you're not the main player in the situation, but there's an effect for you, and you're there with them in spirit. But you could resolve to either help more or to let this play out on its own without necessarily getting overly involved. I think that's just possible, and you should consider that. Now, the emotional challenge for the week is the reversed 4 of Pentacles. And so maybe that says, not so fast. You have something involved here possibly that you need to get over or let go. It may be something that makes you feel like you have an emotional stake or claim in the situation. But I'm thinking that it really portends the idea that you need to let something go. Maybe this is about other people in a relationship and your qualms don't really fit in there, if that's what we're talking about, I think. Who, what, or why coming your way? And it's the reverse King of Swords. So it could be somebody who's actually coming towards you with this, but I think one way or the other, some sort of choice or decision or judgment is coming to you. And it almost feels like it has the potential to break up relationships or to cause a big pause or a big status quo change, a big timeout change. So this could be saying maybe the whole situation here, if this is what it is, you might have to really, really, really move yourself out of that, especially if you're not a direct person there. It would probably only make you look better if you stick around. I don't know, you might be considered a troublemaker of some sort. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Cancer, what is the vibration for the week? What emotional energy is around you at this time? And it's Judgment reversed. And Judgment reversed could be indicating that there's been a real strange downturn in something emotionally, and it almost constitutes a failure perhaps on your part to understand a certain gravity that was going on, Cancer, that maybe the revelation proved that things can't change the way that maybe you thought they would. Maybe you wanted something different, but it sort of feels like you're going to have to deal with a situation that works against you in a lot of emotional ways. Your emotional actual challenge this week is the reversed Four of Wands. And I get the feeling like maybe the sense of judgment or big change in your understanding of certain things will lead to some sense of dis-ease in your tribe or in your home life. And so there may be a sense of not outright negativity going on between you and people, but kind of a little, I won't call it shunning, but maybe people are avoiding each other, and you could be part of that. So who or what or why is coming to you? It's Death reversed. You're going to move into a period of inertia and worse, and you're going to feel really heavily paused and might feel all of the outside factors or external events are what's doing it. I don't think so. I think a lot of it is what's going on here with the other cards, and I think you will have to pull yourself up on your own. And I don't think, Cancer, you're going to do it easily, because a part of this is that this is affecting your emotionality very hard because you're Cancer, and this is about the emotional circuits and circus around us. So hang in there and give yourself some care too. I know you didn't get the card for that, but take care of yourself, Cancer. We'll move on to Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I like the little cloth I'm using here. It's from our good friend Fig and Mara. This is actually the reverse side, but I thought the other side looks more like crows or ravens, but I thought this side looked kind of interesting to use, so I did. All right, Leo, what is the vibration for the week? And it's the Sun reversed, number 18. And so the Sun reversed is not really a horrible card, but it could indicate that, everything is not exactly as bright as you want, but it's not bad. You may just feel that there's one emotional situation in particular that you might want to try to spread a little light that way. There may be somebody who just needs to hear from you, parent, child, old friend. So your emotional challenge this week, it's the Six of Wands. Your emotional challenge is, I think you're trying to create a buzz about yourself emotionally. You want to be noticed by somebody. It might be connected to that, but I actually don't think so. I mean, most of the other cards in the other readings seem to have a flow. This might not be the same thing, in my opinion. I think that Six of Wands there as your challenge is more about how you make yourself available or accessible to someone else for an emotional situation. So it could be somebody trying to set up a primary relationship, but maybe it's just about something, that you really need to do. So in that sense, it could be about the friend you need to connect with, or the person you need to connect with that doesn't feel all your sun right now and needs to. So maybe there is a connection there. Maybe this is saying really you have to, if there's a situation that makes it harder to reach out, you have to figure that out. All right, Leo, who or what or why is coming to you? And oh my goodness, you have a tower coming to you. And the tower says it's an opportunity to learn. There's something important that you could be learning about your relationship or all your relationships or what's going on in particular. It may feel like something is dismantling, like maybe you're pulling out of this thing or some other thing, but there's something important for you to take from that emotionally. And so I do feel there's a connection here. I can't really say for sure what it is. Maybe it's about the placement in the relationship, and that what you're accepting is that you're not as important anymore, but you still are, but maybe something has changed, you know. Is it about somebody moving or somebody moving out of your life? It sounds interesting, Leo, so I wish you well with that. And we're going to move on to Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Virgo, what is the vibe in your life right now? What kind of situations are going on, or energy-wise are there? It's the reversed Seven of Swords. So there's an energy or vibe right now that makes you feel you need to find out something. Emotionally speaking, it feels like maybe somebody's trying to hide something or keep you unaware of it. Now, of course, it could be something like they're planning a surprise party for you of some sort. But I almost wonder if, like, maybe this is Virgo, right? Is somebody cheating behind your back? And maybe if it's not in the emotional relationship sense, is it cheating about something else that would affect you emotionally in some other way? I almost have that feeling there. But you're going to find out about it, whatever it is. Now, what is your emotional challenge this week? And it's Strength reversed. So there is a connection here. You may have to really deal with this assertively, no nonsense, not try to be really like the emotional, oh, I understand, I get it, especially depending on whether or not this is really a strong sense of a betrayal, that, you know, you've been betrayed. You're going to be expecting justice, I think, or realizing that, of course, sometimes there is no justice and there is another planet, and maybe you are moving on. Card 3, who, what, or why is coming to you? It's the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is about a decision you must make. And it sort of feels very complicated emotionally, and you may not be feeling like you're up for it, but you're going to probably have to be. You have to rise to this occasion. It probably is no doubt about what's going on with those other cards, Virgo. So I'm sorry about that. I hope things work out for you, though. And we're going to move on to Libra. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Libra, what's the essence or energy vibration around you? Whoa, Libra, it's the Nine of Cups. Libra, you are vibrating to your wish, whether it's a stated one or not. You're highly vibrating to something that would bring you great pleasure, great joy, everything you wanted. I mean, it sounds like if it's for a relationship, then, you know, you just picked door number 1 for sure. But in general, it really does feel like, you know, something is really good about to happen for you this week, something you really wanted. Now, what is the challenge, though? Of course, if you have something good, there must be a challenge, right? And it's the reverse Two of Cups. So this could be saying that you may feel there's a lack of harmony or trust right now in an important relationship. If it's not the primary one in your life, it could be a very important one. And it's going to feel like hurt. And if it is connected to this, then maybe it's especially like the feeling like sometimes not every wish is totally good, that maybe there's always a dark side, a price to pay. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'm wondering. They're both cups, of course. So who or what is coming to you and for why? And it's the Ace of Wands reversed. So this could be a status quo in a relationship, and maybe that's what that's about, that maybe getting your wish is really about maybe changing the status quo of a relationship. It could be that maybe a relationship has ran its natural course for some reason, and now it's time to consider starting something new or ending something. There still seems to be some problems or delays along the way, and some of that is possibly chalked up to egos on either side of the situation that could be involved. So I'm sorry about that too, Libra. And we're going to move to Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And I know the astrology majorly changed recently. A planet that was in the last sign for 13 or 14 years is now in the next sign for 13 or 14 years. And this may bring about some interesting challenges for many of us, but especially for cardinal signs, I heard. That's Cancer and Aries at least. I wonder if it's Capricorn in there too. Anyways, yeah, I think Capricorn's in there, and then Libra. So those are the cardinals. So anyways, Scorpio, what is the emotional vibration for the week? It's the Magician reversed. The emotional vibration is feeling like you don't have your magic this week, Scorpio. You don't feel like you have the will or the ability to be creative or to exert any kind of magic on your part, whether that's just a metaphor, magic for energy skill or, dashing debonair, abilities. So what is the challenge for the week then? And it's the upright Two of Swords. The challenge may be this is a time to have less action going on. That if you're trying to prove something in a relationship or in your life of relationships, this is not the right time for that, Scorpio. This is a time for you to do what you can do best, which is kind of be quiet, sulk a little bit, but maybe think about what's really going on and what you need to do next, what your action should be, rather than just moving into it. Now, who, what, or why coming towards you? And it's death, which means big change. It's upright. It's not reversed like the other sign had it. You're going to be about some big change here. And it's kind of interesting because, of course, you have the Magician both reversed, and then you have the Two Swords. Scorpio, I think something big is going to change in your life. But I think you're instigating that change. You're not just sort of being pulled along with it. I think you're about that change, Scorpio. Let's move to Sagittarius. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Sagittarius, what's the vibe around you this week? What kind of energy stuff is going on? It's the reverse Nine of Wands. So I think you're coming out of an area where maybe you were concerned about other people and what was going on in their lives. There was an anxiety or emotional dis-ease between yourself and not exactly what was going on between you and other people, but maybe how you were feeling for them. So this is maybe talking about you as being one of the people in their lives and taking the brunt of some of their emotional venting or anxiety. And I know Sagittarians, that's not a role they like to play. They would rather be more about resolving that. And so that's probably the role you felt you had to play, is you probably had to try to point out what the bright spots that they couldn't see were, Sagittarius. So it's not the worst thing you've had to do, I suppose, but it's not what you like doing. So Sagittarian, what is the challenge of the week? That's the Ace of Pentacles. And so the challenge of the week is maybe, depending on what was going with them, if there was a breakup or something, or if the breakup concerns you even, then that Ace of Pentacles is about trying to reforge things or trying to recreate or re-begin something maybe that's connected to that. It could be just saying that your role in some other people's lives now has to reestablish itself, that maybe you had to kind of put yourself out there a little bit in order to do whatever this was about. You know, you had to kind of be blunt. Scorpios can do it, but so can Sagittarians. So who, what, or why is coming towards you, Sagittarius? That's the Devil reversed. So this frees you in a way. Whatever you're doing here, even if you are building something new again with them, but maybe now I'm thinking you're just building something new away from them, because it frees you. That relationship may have had some oppressive, codependent things going on. Maybe that's why you were there, because you didn't really want to be there, but there was something maybe that was holding you there. Maybe you're related to somebody who has addictive problems and somehow you got drawn into that, but you're freeing yourself, or some situation that was oppressive. Good luck with that, Sagittarius. And we'll move on to Capricorn. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, Capricorn. What is the emotional vibration or energy for this week? It's the Seven of Coins. The vibration is kind of low. You're sort of wanting something to take care of itself, or you're hoping that it can take care of itself, and you're not really sure you're able to put more energy there. So I think it is about a human relationship you have, or a relationship with something that normally has a deep emotional connection for you, but something makes you feel like whatever this is, it might not be the main thing in your life. It might have been something that was coming forward, but you're not ready to let it stand on its own. So this could have just been your interest in a person or thing that you thought was going to be part of your life, and now you realize if it happens, it happens. It may not. So what is your challenge this week? And it's the Page of Wands. But the Page of Wands is reversed. So there may have been communication or dialogue going on in this situation. Maybe this was somebody that was, emailing you or checking you out online somehow, or you knew somehow, some way. But I think the emotional challenge is sort of saying bye-bye, saying no to the invitation, or realizing that going in this direction, like if this is a call to pick this up and start doing it, it's a no-win situation, or it's dead on arrival. It's not going to work probably. And so your challenge may be in understanding that, or actually, speaking to it with somebody if necessary. So who, what, why coming your way? And once again, it's judgment reversed. What's coming your way, maybe it's probably about the situation, is realizing that whatever you thought you were feeling there, or if you thought it was going to take off and bloom into something else, you now realize there was a misjudgment, that this is not a thing that brings you any kind of emotional happiness or will do anything. I'm almost getting the feeling it was membership or belonging to some sort of fraternal or social group, maybe not a formal group, or maybe as formal as a book club, but there was an emotionality there, whatever it really is, and I don't think you want that in your life. I think you're going to be moving away from this. So I don't know, I mean, maybe it was a self-help group and you realize they're all drinkers, or they're all promiscuous, or I don't know, there's something kind of a weird buzz. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. Aquarius, Aquarius. Enough of that. All right, Aquarius, what's the emotional vibe for the week? It's that reverse King of Swords. Aquarius, your emotional vibe for the week says you need to kind of make a decision that will change something in your life. You may be telling somebody it's time for them to move on. I get the feeling like this is a partnership, a relationship, a situation that you're moving away from. You could be just changing your mind about where you work at, but I think it's more of an emotional relationship than that. I'm not sure what it is, but I think that's the buzz for the week, that you probably have to make this decision, or that you have, and now you have to act it out. The emotional challenge for the week, that should have been the challenge, frankly, but it's the Two of Swords. So maybe this decision that is slightly dreadful or not still needs more time. Although the vibe says you want to do this, you probably need to think through this a lot more, somewhat more, before the action part. Who, what, or why is coming to you? It's the reverse Five of Swords. This is bad news, because it feels like no matter which way you go with this, if you wait or not, there's trouble coming to you. There's something that you will probably have to walk away from. I'm wondering if this was just really a really kind of bad relationship, or person who came into your life that you probably need to move away from them. This is all swords. Boo on that. That doesn't sound good, Aquarius. Good luck. I hope you're here next week. All right, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Pisces, what's the emotional vibe for the week? It's the Sun, but the Sun is reversed. Reverse Sun says you're almost as happy as you want to be, but you're not quite there. So this talks about maybe a relationship, or a situation in a relationship it's still evolving. The sun is still rolling across the sky, moving towards its zenith, and hopefully it takes you there. But right now, it only feels like you just know you could be happier, but you're happy enough. All right. The emotional challenge for the week. It's the reverse Four Swords. So you have to rise to some occasion. I think, emotionally speaking, you've recovered from maybe something that hurt you or something that estranged you from somebody. But now will be the time for you to come back to that situation. And I think there is a chance it's connected to that first card. It could be saying really that maybe you didn't understand what somebody really wanted or intended in a relationship. But now that you do, you may be able to get back into that swing. So who, what, or why is coming to you? And it's the Knight of Pentacles. And it's upright. So something is moving towards you. It could be a possible relationship, whether it's primary or just an important one. It also feels like it's taking its time, like it's knowing that it doesn't have to get there right away, and that whatever it's bringing to you will be appreciated no matter when you get it. I think that's what I got for you. All right, so that was the emotional exchanges for this week. I'm very glad you joined me. There's definitely some astrology stuff in the air. I can feel that the readings kind of came off a little differently to me. Not sure if I can explain it better than that. Join us tomorrow for happy hour. It's going to be sort of by the seat of our pants. I have a very early morning appointment 40 miles away, and then I have to get back here for happy hour, and then I have to get happy hour done early, 10 a.m., because then I'm going to work later, so I look a little bit jet lagged. That's why. Sunday will be Banshee's Material Matters at 10 a.m. You can join us in the chat room for that one. And then Sunday, we're our live stream from 2 to 4 p.m. The following week will be the beginning of February, so I know off the top of my head, Banshee will join me for the Goth Tarot, and we will begin a new course of shadow work on a major issue for the month of February. So that's what I got for this week, everybody. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time.